Note card 1, note card 2, note card 3, note card 4, note card 5, note card 6. Alrighty. Hi, my name is Winter Russell. Feel the burn. No, I'm not talking about the scorching heat of the summer sun. Feel the burn is a term used by those who supported Bernie Sanders in the 2016 presidential election. Throughout the length of Sanders' political career, he has always fought against many types of injustice in the United States. In 1993, Sanders made an impactful proposition which would forever change the way those working in the United States government thought about minimum wage. After making large changes to the system and the state in which he has been the senator over many years, his battle is not yet over. Bernie Sanders was born September 8th in 1941 in Brooklyn, New York, meaning today he is 77 years old and still a New Yorker at heart. Countless people would agree that New York is a melting pot of many different cultures. According to the timeline on the Bernie Sanders website, Sanders' father was a Polish immigrant who moved to the United States when he was just 17 years old. Those two pieces of information make it as simple as 2 + 2 to understand why at just about 20 years old, in January of 1962, Sanders was a Congress of Racial Equality officer whom led a group of students in a sit-in against the segregation of an off-campus housing complex run by the University of Chicago. The following year, in 1963, Sanders made his first trip to Washington, D.C. to hear Martin Luther King Jr.'s famed "I Have a Dream" speech in person and to participate in the March on Washington. An article about Bernie Sanders on Biography.com states that he went on to graduate from the University of Chicago in 1964 with a degree in political science. Before continuing his involvement with politics in the 1970s, Sanders worked as a writer, a film creator, psychiatric assistant, and teacher to children in poverty. Throughout the 70s, Sanders ran for Congress many times, but sadly none of the runs had been victorious. 1981 proved to be a monumental year. Bernie Sanders had won the mayoral race in Burlington, Vermont by just 10 votes. He continued his winning streak by being re-elected 3 times and went on to win a seat in the United States House of Representatives in 1990. He was the first independent candidate to be part of the House in 40 years. Also, according to his timeline, in 1992, Congress passed Sanders' first piece of legislation to create the National Program of Cancer Registries, which means that now all 50 states must run registries to help cancer researchers gain crucial information. According to Bernie Sanders' political website, feeltheburn.org, in 1993, Sanders proposed the Livable Wage Act, which was reintroduced in 95, 97, and 99. This act was the beginning of Sanders' attempts to put legislation into place that would raise what many call the starvation wage. The Minimum Wage Restoration Act was the next piece of legislation that Sanders proposed in 2001. Via the official Bernie Sanders YouTube channel in December 2013, he argued for a budget amendment to change the national minimum wage to $10.10 per hour. The Bernie Sanders Senator for Vermont website on Wednesday, April 26, 2017, put out a press release that Sanders of Vermont, Patty Murray of Washington, and Chuck Schumer of New York had announced legislation that would raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. Finally, in a press release by the official State of Vermont website on May 8, 2018, the bill was passed in Vermont. A very important quote from the House Speaker of Vermont, Mitzi Johnson. The modest increase approved by the House today slowly raises the minimum wage to $15 an hour over 6 years. ensuring Vermonters receive a boost and our employers have ample time to adjust to the new wage laws. Better wages help our state economy, strengthen our workforce, and improve local communities and moves families to self-sufficiency. Bernie Sanders' fight for minimum wage has not stopped yet. Progress in Vermont and ripple effect in other states. His goal is for there to be a national minimum wage of $15. Bernie Sanders has had a long, heartfelt political career. He was the base of countless ideas and pieces of legislation to simply help United States citizens. He is now satisfied with his work for our government, but he constantly has a fire under his feet for change. To end with a quote from Bernie Sanders, "I saw unfairness. That was the major inspiration for my politics."